Right, well, as you saw from the video I did last week, I am at Millbrrok Fishery. It's a lovely little place. Ladyfields is just up there. I'll put a picture up on the map of it, and hopefully I managed to get myself a fish. The bailiff is very helpful and he's pointed out a few spots just briefly of the peg that I'm in. I'm in peg 8. So what I'll do is I'll try and find some spots. Now, I won't put my bivvy up yet. I'll find some spots first. As I'm here for 3 days, so I'll find some spots before I do anything. Get my rods in, and then a bit later on I'll probably put my bivvy up and set up. Well, as you can see, like, that's my water. So I can fish from that white post there. That is one, and then I can fish. There's a white post on the edge of the island, and then there's one on the margins down there, and that is where my water is. I've been pointed out a few spots for the swim, a few margin spots, a few middle spots. So what I'll do now is I'll get my marker rod out, get a bear lead on, and I'm going to try and find those spots that the bailiff has pointed out. So I'll bring you back when I've found my spots and I'm putting my rods in. Right, well, I found the spots and I'm going to be fishing. So one's in the margin to my right, and then one is straight in front of my swim towards a willow, but it's to the right of it, 5 3/4 rod lengths out. It's a nice clean spot. It's got weed behind it and weed in front of it and to the side. It's not massive, so what I'm assuming is that it is a feeding spot, because there's just a little patch in the weeds where it's just gravel, and then obviously there's weed in front of it, behind it, to the side of it, etc. So what I'm assuming is that it's a feeding spot that the carp have visited and cleaned off. So what I've done is I've put a solid bag out on that spot, just in case it does end up going to the left or to the right, meaning that if it does, hopefully my hook baits will still be presented. There is actually a bit of fizzing going on straight in front of me, which is tempting to put a rod on it, but I don't think I'm going to, because it's moving towards my spot. So I'll show you in a minute. It's a big, massive, it's just a dust cloud that's come up off the bottom, like mud and silt and whatnot, and it's moving to the right where my hook baits are. So hopefully, I might be jinxing myself, but hopefully I can nick a quick bite. Right, I'll spin it round and I'll show you all the mud that's kicking up off the bottom, and then I'll point out where my spots are. Right, well, I don't know if you can see that very well, but if you look straight in front of us, about there, you can see where the mud has been kicked up, like just behind. This bit here is all weed, and then the brown bit at the back is where the fizzing just was. And my spot is about where that duck, maybe to the right of that duck a little bit, in line with this middle tree here, but it's about there, right on the tip of my finger, sorry. And then my right hand rod, sorry, is down there in this margin, which the bailiff said is a prolific area, as it is a water inlet, and it is sort of deep and it's clean with silt and then gravel and then silt again. So I'm assuming that that's another spot where the fish are feeding. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to set up my bivvy. I haven't got anything out yet. Swim's still a bit of a mess from where I've just got my rods out. So what I'll do is I'll put my net up. They give you a net and a unhooking cradle and everything here. So what I'll do is I'll get that set up, just in case I do end up getting a bite, and I'll bring you back if I get anything. Right, well, I'm having liners on my both rods, the left and the right one. There's fish definitely in the area. When I'm walking up my margin to check, there is a group of fish just underneath the surface. The fish, I've got the advantage here because you're not allowed to fish zigs, so pretty much the fish just live in the higher layers and stay up there. It's warm, but it's quite, when the wind gets going, it is quite, I wouldn't say cold, but it's cooler. The sun's obviously shining, but yeah, I'm having liners on both my rods at the minute, so we'll see if anything comes of that. There is another patch of weed that's just in front of my swim, actually. About there, you can see the dark patch, and there has been a couple of fish cruising in there. But what I don't want to do is, I don't really want to cast on top of them, because I have heard that they are very spooky here. Like if one shows and there's not much wind or whatever, and you cast a rig on top of it, apparently they're quite spooky and just leave that spot. So I didn't cast on there, because when them fish were in the weed, there was no wind blowing, so I didn't really want to spook all the fish out in the area. There has been a couple crashing in front of my swim, and like I say, liners, so which is a good sign. So I will bring you back if I get anything. Right, well, it's 6:30 now. Oh, heron. Just flying up there. Yeah, it's 6:30 now. Not had anything throughout the day. The fish have just been on the top, cruising around, not really doing anything. They're all in groups, and they know that the bottom layers are quite dangerous. One's just shown right there. They know the bottom layers are quite dangerous, so all they do is they sit up in the top, the upper layers, because you're not allowed zigs here. So what I'm doing is I'm just going to leave them out now until about 8 o'clock, because apparently 6 PM is a good bite time. I've just ordered my tea, got a Chinese on its way. So yeah, I'm going to let my mate know that I'm going to go get my food, and then, because what happens is we go in pairs, so whenever he wants to move, he just passes me. The fish is just shown again there, so if he wants to go and use the facilities, then he passes me as receiver, and then vice versa. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let him know that I'm just going up to the gate to get my food, and then hopefully, as it gets closer towards dark, hopefully I manage to get something on the end of my rods and hopefully break my PB. So I will maybe move, if this fish keeps showing in this area, I will move my left hand rod, because obviously can't grumble at the possibilities that there's a fish there. So what I'll do is I'll move my left hand rod, and then probably put my right hand rod, which was in the margins, I'll probably put that where my spot is. Another fish is just fizzing. So what I might do is I might put my left hand rod on where that fish keeps showing, and put my right hand rod on where that fizzing has just popped up. So I'm gonna go now, and then let my mate know where I'm going. Right, well, I've had nothing throughout the night. I don't think anybody has, to be honest, on the lake. It was a very busy and loud day yesterday, as everyone was trying to find the spot. So lads were crashing in the water, and then when they found the spot, spoms and spods were crashing in the water, creating a lot of disturbance. Still stayed with my solid bag and my Ronnie rig, but this time what I've done is I did start off with these, the Northern Special in the yellow. As I've been told, the yellow was working very well, but I've had no luck on that. So what I've gone to now is the Carp Freaks ones in the washed out pink, but I think they've gone a bit more orangey than washed out pink, because I have added the bait booster attraction thing that comes in the pot. So yeah, I just made myself a brew. It's down there on the floor. Just made myself a brew. But what I have done, because I'm fishing to the margin with my Ronnie rig, as I found a nice spot where it goes from silt to gravel, and then behind the silt and around the silt is weed. So I found that nice little spot. So what I've done is I've just taken my bank stick around with a bobbin on the top, and then I've got it. It's not pretty, I know that. Yeah, it's fishing a washing line method to the bank stick, and then I've just got about 2 meters of line that's actually in the water, if that. Hoping that maybe if I do that, then the fish won't see the line as much, and then will be more inclined to feed, but who knows. The conditions yesterday weren't ideal at all, to be honest. It was quite hot. The wind was good for where I am, but it was quite hot, and the pressure was very high yesterday. But then as soon as it come to about 8 o'clock, it was still quite warm, but then everything just went calm, just dead still. And now the wind, it's not as bad as it was yesterday, but it started to pick up again this morning. So yeah, no one is fishing in peg 9, so the bailiff has said to me that I can obviously cast into peg 9. So if I do see a fish in that same spot that was showing yesterday, if I see them fish showing in the same spot, I did manage to locate that spot, and it was a clean area, and I've got that all clipped up and put in my marker in my notes. So in case one does start showing, I can just quickly get a solid bag out on that, in case it goes left or right of that little spot. And then we'll see if I get anything, because I'm confident today, to be honest, as it's not, the pressure's a bit lower than it was yesterday, the temperature's a bit cooler, and but the wind is I've still got a southwesterly wind, which is a very good wind for these pegs down here. So yeah, I am confident that I'm going to get a bite. So it's just a waiting game now, and then, or if not, I've still got a couple of days. We've got 2 pieces. I've still got a couple of days to pull one out. So I'll bring you back if I end up catching a fish. Right, well, I didn't get to video that fish much, well, at all really, as everyone around the lake that is near me, they come to take my photos and help me with netting the fish. Everyone very friendly on here, very friendly indeed. They'll come and help you out with whatever you're doing and stuff like that. So yeah, it come out of peg 9. I'm fishing in peg 9, but towards my peg a bit, because there is no one in peg 9 and then there's no one in peg 10. But the closest guy is in peg 11. So what the bailiff has said, he said you can cast, I can cast into 9 and you can cast into 10. So that's what I did. I found a spot in there yesterday. In peg 9, put bait out on it, and I didn't fish that spot because my idea was that if I put bait out onto the spot, then left it and didn't put a rig out, and then the fish would feed more comfortably, as they've not got the danger of having a rig and a hook impaled through them. So I found another spot that was right in front of peg 8. So then I fished that one last night, put a bit of bait out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fish the spot in peg 9 tonight, and then I'm going to rest the spot in peg 8. So maybe it does the same. Maybe it does the same tomorrow, resting it for the night and the rest of the day, and then put it back on in the morning and just leave it out there for the rest of the day. But yeah, the spot's not very big, so what I've done is I've put a solid bag on it. It's the same rig that I normally put on for my solid bags. It's the same bait, obviously the Northern Special Wafter, and then obviously the inline lead, with the mini Ultra Mix pellets again. So yeah, completely made up with that fish. It's a new PB for me. It weighed in at 29 pounds with the net. So I weighed the net afterwards and it was £2. So 27 pound fish and a new personal best for me. Absolutely made up with that one. And I'll bring you back if I get anything else. It's like a bloody shark. Like its fin up in, out the air, swimming along. Oh. I don't know how much you can actually see. There's actually mist rolling in over the hills. I've woken up at first light to try and get a early start on the day. It started raining a bit last night and into this morning, but I've had nothing. On the right hand rod though I did have, like, my bobbin went up but then it went back down, so I think it was just a liner. I'm fishing, my line's quite slack to be honest. As you can see, the bobbin is pretty much on the deck. We just got a little bit further. Sorry guys, yeah, we just got a little bit further. Just so that if it does drop back, I can clearly see that it has dropped back instead of come forward. But yeah, no fish from me. I don't think anybody else on the lake has had anything, but I'll find out a little bit later in the day. So yeah, I'll give you an update as and when anything happens. Right, well, I've had no action yet. After that fish, yeah, there's not really been much showing. But a few seconds ago, in front of peg 9, there was a lot of fizzing going on. Fish feeding quite clearly the silt was being kicked up off the bottom, like it was the other day. So what I've done is I've just brought one rod round on a Ronnie rig, because I don't know what the bottom's like here. Don't know if it's in weed or whatever. So I've put it on it's on a helicopter already. So I'm just lowered it in. I've not even set the boat arm up. I'm just fishing it like that. Yeah. But yeah, I found a spot in peg 11 earlier this morning, and I've put bait on that because the wind is due to change and they follow the wind here. So I've put a bit of bait on that, and all I'm doing is watching it just to see if it's the right move to move for the night or not. But the wind, it's got a mind of its own at the minute. It's blowing up towards the other end 1 minute, and then the next minute it's blowing back down here. So it's just, if there's a lot showing over there, then I'll move, obviously, and if there's nothing showing here, then I'll move. But then vice versa, if there's a lot showing here, I'll stay. But I think, to be honest, I think if there's no shows anywhere, I think I will just move anyway, because I've spent 2 nights down in this swim. I've had nothing during the night, both nights. No one up there has really had a fish, but it's not really been the wind for it, as it's been blowing in my, well, down towards my little bay area. But now it's changing, so yeah, I'll update you if I move or if I stay. And then I'll also bring you back if I get a fish, and hopefully I'll get a chance to video it instead of just having to put a picture in. So yeah, I'll bring you back if I get any. Well, as you've just seen by that pan around, I am in a different peg. I'm now in peg 11. With the wind, it's now started to rain. To be fair, the rain was due at 9, and I think it's about, well, it's past 9, I think it's about 12, maybe a bit later, maybe about 1:30. So yeah, it's a few hours late. But yeah, it's absolutely chucking it down. It's not thick rain at the minute, it's just thin droplets. But yeah, I have moved into peg 11 just for the final night, because what can go wrong apart from I don't catch a fish. But to be honest, with that 27-pounder yesterday, to be honest, it doesn't really matter if I don't catch another fish. I found a few nice spots, silt and then gravel. There's not as much weed up here, to be honest, it's just in the front of the peg. But yeah, it was a mad rush getting all of my equipment up and ready, because it's typical. As soon as you start to move and you put all your stuff down, that's when the rain starts. It is what it is. But yeah, I'll show you where my rods are in a minute. I'll turn the camera around and I'll point out where they are. I've put a couple of spots out. I did some this morning. I put a couple of spots out this morning so that maybe the fish had come onto it, and I've left it all day. But yeah, I'll put a couple back out, a couple more spots out when I put the rods out. But yeah, just gotta wait and see now. Got the kettle boiling for a cup of tea, so I'll get that done, and then I'll have my tea in a bit later. Got some burgers, so I'll spin you around now and show you where my rods are and my baits and what I've got on and everything like that. Right, so my left hand rod it's those reeds here on the left, just off the reeds by like 2 foot. It's nice and gravelly and silty there. Just got that on a solid bag. The one that did the bite earlier on my favourite. I'll see if I've got one actually. I haven't got one to spare at the minute. Oh, I have. Give me a second. Just. There. Northern Special Pink Wafter. Same rig I always use for my solid bags. And then I've got my right hand rod about just where the tip of my finger is. It's not far out at all, about there. Don't know if you can make that out, it's focusing on my finger, not on. Yeah, just about there. And that's on a Ronnie rig. On one of these Carp Freaks pop-ups. It's washed out pink, but they've gone a little bit orangey. And as you can hear, the rain is proper pummeling down now. So what I'll do is I'll put the camera down. Get this cup of tea down me, and hope that I get a fish. Well, that's what my rig's looking like in the water from above. From the side, it's just on a Ronnie rig, and then obviously the other one is on a solid bag. I've shown you what the solid bag looks like when it goes in before. Just give it a shake, see what happens. Yeah. I think you can just about see there's the yellow additive things that are coming off that pop-up. It's the No Name and the pineapple one from Corda. So yeah, it's sitting just like that out on the baited area over there. Right, well, it was raining throughout the night last night and then into this morning. Got up at 6 o'clock just to pack down some of my stuff, ready for 9 o'clock when we've got to be off. But yeah, no, nothing else through the night. 2 people had a fish yesterday. One down in peg 7, opposite where I originally was, but he was fishing into peg 6 on the other side of the island where I caught mine from. And then peg 3 caught a fish. Both of them were 24 and 25 pound around that area. But yeah, it's only been mirrors that have come off. I think there's a lot of mirrors and quite not as many commons. But yeah, so there's been 4 fish off on total. Peg 3, peg 5 and peg 7, and then obviously my fish. So yeah, everyone that's on here has said they don't know what's happened, because last week there was quite a few coming out per person, and then the week before a guy come on using orange and no one had used orange, and he had 16 fish in one session. So who knows? It's if buts and maybes. If I would have had more if I stayed, it's if buts and maybes that I would have had another one if I stayed where I was in peg 8, because as soon as I got up here and it started to rain, about 2 hours, maybe 3, after I put my rods out and put my rods out on the spot and put some bait out, that the wind decided to change direction and blow straight into that little bay area where I was. But yeah, I can't grumble with trip. I've come first time, not knowing much, and then I've caught my PB. So the bailiff's come around and goes that I'm having a bucket, so I'll try and get that on video of the bucket happening. But yeah, I will be back here sometime in the future. It might not be for a couple of months, but I will be back just to see if I can have a better session, and hopefully the weather will get better for starters, and then hopefully the carp will manage to get the spawning out the way and done with, because Millbrrok closes for 3 weeks whilst the carp are spawning. So hopefully the weather picks up, and so the carp can get the spawning out the way, and then they'll be on the proper feed. But yeah, I've been told also to come as maggots are allowed during the winter months, as apparently the maggots switch them on. So I'm gonna have to ask Lynn, who runs it, I'm gonna have to ask her if I can, well, see what dates are available really, and see when I can get on the first week when maggots are allowed. But who knows. So I've still got about 3 hours left though. Rods are still out on the spot. It's flat calm. Yeah, so hopefully there's time for another one.